Hello, everyone, and welcome to another K6 Office Hours. Today I'm joined by two of my colleagues. You may recognize Paul Baylog, and for the first time, we also have Edgar Fisher.
Hello.
Yay!
Yay!
Edgar, could you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, sure. So I've joined K6 in October last year. So it's been almost half a year. And yeah, I love it so far. Work is interesting and challenging. Colleagues are overly friendly and helpful. And yeah, I've been having a good time here.
That's good to hear because it would suck if the first time we heard you weren't having a good time was on a live stream, right?
Exactly. That's always the
We-
best time to spring that kind of thing up, you know?
Some live feedback. Yeah.
Yeah. It's improv.
So what do you do on a daily basis?
So I'm part of a front-end team, but actually a bit separate from everyone because I started working on Grafana plugin, and that's mostly what I'm working on. And I quite like it because no one knows what I'm doing. I just keep at it, and I can say like something, some algorithms doesn't line up when I need some time. So yeah, it's working great for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you
Uh,
not get the memo that this is all about showing people what you've been working on?
That's right.
Yeah, refactoring.
Yeah. Can't keep
So
it
the
all on the
secret will be
down
out.
low. Yeah. Can't keep it all on the
Yep.
down low.
So
Yep.
did you already use Grafana before you joined K6?
No, I haven't, but I actually used K6 before in my previous employment because we had quite a curious case when our customer provided an API and it would fail randomly under heavier load, but they wouldn't believe it. So I already had a buddy of mine working at K6. He said, just try it out. It's a cool tool. So
Who's
yeah,
the
just
buddy?
check.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Edwin's.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. And yeah, just did some stress testing. I generated a report, sent to them, and that left no open questions. That's something wrong with it.
So how is it working on the team so far? How many people are on the front end team actually?
Yeah, we are five now, but I think two more people are joining us soon. And yeah, it's great. I know we don't do daily stand-ups, but we communicate heavily on Slack. Everyone is helpful. We are almost always on the same page. So yeah,
That's cool.
it's working great.
Oh, cool. So did you say we're hiring?
Oh, obviously, yes.
I don't know. It's
That seemed like the perfect segue.
wow.
Yep, that's the perfect place.
Yeah, I think we say this pretty much at every office hours because we're always hiring, but we are still hiring one more front end engineer aside from the two that are coming, I believe.
Yes, yes, and I think we'll have a space after the summer. Some more space is opening, so yeah.
And Leandro is in the comments as well, and he's saying, "Come to the perf side. We have cookies and fikas." I don't know about the cookies, but we do have the fikas.
Well, I've got some stroop waffles or stroop waffles. I don't know. Oh, stroop. Oh, so I've
Yeah.
really been wrong. Uh-oh.
Are those the ones that you put on a cup?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
the best way
I
to
would
do
have been
it.
kicked out of the Netherlands for saying that, huh?
At least you said Netherlands, not Holland, so you're forgiven. Anyway, we wanted to get Edgar here today to talk about different ways to integrate K6 with Grafana. We've talked a little bit about how to do that if you're using K6 OSS. In fact, Paul did a demo. I believe was it just last week, Paul?
I think it might have been 2 weeks
A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Episode
called
47.
Visualizing K6 Results.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it was
episode
episode
47.
47.
Can you explain what you demonstrated?
Me? Oh yeah, no.
Yes.
So yeah, no, it's really cool. It was with the XK6 extension, so kind of custom compiled in utility for K6, but made it so that we could export the metrics of the load test out to Prometheus or to InfluxDB or and timescale. So that's really cool stuff. But yeah, so that way then kind of play with everybody in the big tent.
Yeah, and that's really good because it was all OSS stuff, right? So
Correct.
no cloud needed, or not K6 cloud or Grafana cloud. So we always strive for feature parity. We try to make sure that if you can do something in K6 cloud, that you can also do it in K6 OSS. Of course, there will be more of a setup, but at least you'll still be able to string together whatever combination of tools you would like. But that's K6 OSS, and what Paul is talking about is those are the output extensions, right? So those you'd have to build your own custom binary, custom version of K6 in order to do that, to be able to use what he demonstrated.
Yeah,
And it
and
was really
shameless
nice
self
because it was all in
promotion.
Docker.
Yeah, and shameless self promotion. It's right there on the screen there. If you want to go to that, you can do all the Docker files, all the scripts to run all that, and have fun. Just don't
But
don't
we
hurt yourself.
It's dangerous. It's a
Yes,
dangerous
yes,
job.
yes.
But we also have a lot of people that do use K6 Cloud, and K6 Cloud already comes with a dashboard of results. The problem is that sometimes you want that in the same place that you already have your other metrics. So if you already are monitoring your application servers, it makes sense that the metrics from your load test would be going into the same place, right? And it also in a previous office hours with Mustafa, he we talked about how Prometheus Remote Write is also available for K6 Cloud. So it effectively lets you use Prometheus Remote Write to send your metrics to some other instance of Prometheus. Could be Grafana Cloud, but it could also be any other APM provider that also uses Prometheus. Or it could be like a locally hosted one as well. The problem with that is it still requires some setting up for the dashboards and that. And so we created this K6 data source plugin, which I made videos on, and then pretty much as soon as I made videos on it, it was obsolete. Can you tell us about that, Edgar?
Yeah, it was included in our new plugin. Well, not so new anymore, but when was the release? I think it was just before the Christmas. We're still in beta though. And yeah, basically this new plugin encapsulates data source and the app in one plugin. So yeah, the old one had to go away. Sorry about it.
Yeah, so the good thing was that it kind of was trying to recreate the K6 cloud experience with all of the graphs. And the way that was happening was you'd select K6 cloud as the data source in your Grafana instance. And you would just have to put in your API token from K6 cloud. And it did come with some dashboards, but there were still some limitations. Edgar, were you around for the decision of whether or not to work on that? Like, should you improve on that or create something entirely? Something
No, I think
new?
it was already decided when I joined that we
Okay.
should build the plugin and focus on it on and deprecate data source.
Yeah, I
All
was
right.
even
So,
kind of playing with that just earlier this week. Actually, for those demos, I was trying to incorporate where in the Docker image for all the where I had Prometheus and Grafana and everything, I was going to actually install that plugin into the Grafana instance that I was going to have locally. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, because I really wanted to steal a lot of that the nice UI that you guys have for the plugin. All the different little panels and everything. But yeah, it's still going to be a work in progress. But I don't know. I think now though I know who to hit up for help.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Oh, you made a mistake, Edgar.
Yeah, I think from last week I'm getting the reputation of causing work for people. So
Oh, that's fine because well, feedback is highly appreciated. We don't get too many users at this point, so yeah, all feedback is welcome,
cool.
even if it creates more work for us.
Well, I guess that's because we haven't introduced it. Tell us about it. What is this thing that you have been working on?
Yeah, so it was introduced shortly. A quick introduction. So I've been working on getting it to stable version and adding few features on top. Should it start screen sharing and talking about it? Or
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
let's do this.
let's see, share screen.
And I also put the link in the chat. And also, here, this is what Edgar's going to be talking about, but it'll also be in the description on YouTube.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So the last few weeks we've been simplifying setup a bit. So it should be easier to set up now. Okay, yeah, I had to refresh it. Obviously, something will go wrong on demo. So previously, you would have to
Required.
go. Yes.
Can you
Previously, would have.
increase the, sorry, can you just zoom in a little bit?
That's right. Is it any better?
Yes, it is. Just in case people are on smaller screens.
Okay, yep. So previously, you would have to go, after installing the plugin, you would go to settings to enable it. Then you would go to search data sources, find K6, click create new, and then add a token. This is a bit simplified. It's enabled by default, and you can create data source straight from the screen. You also get this nice helping link to open straight to your settings and get the token.
Yeah, so can you show how to install it?
Yeah, definitely. It's just a matter of going to plugin directory and hitting install. Where is it? Oh yeah, install plugin. So it's just my cloud account here. But if you are on open source Grafana, you would go to plugins, search for K6, and it's run locally now, so it displays that it's unsigned because it's in development, but you would get a signed production version here. And yeah, just a matter of hitting install and it would install it on your local Grafana.
So you're going to be demoing the bleeding edge of the branch,
Yes.
Right? All right.
Yes, straight from the local host.
Yes.
That's brave.
Demo
Yes.
gods be gone.
Good luck.
Yeah, so as soon as I added my token, I get the screen of all the tests I have. So yeah, we see overview, we see trending chart of how tests have been doing lately. We can go into tests and see the runs, recent runs. I think maybe all of them, but this then didn't have much. And yeah, and the chart itself.
Nice. This looks very much like K6 Cloud.
Yes, we're trying to make it similar. Obviously, it will look in Grafana theme, but more or less UI-wise to be similar. So from recent development, we had a new meta bar here. Previously, it would not display you the load zones. You would have, I think, no way of knowing it. Actually, a bit increase it to look better.
So this was a distributed test, right?
Yes. We had 4 load zones and actually 1 private load zone. So this is supported now here as well.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and we can see who started it. Also coming soon, we'll have Cloud APN integration status here. This is still in development, but yeah, will be added soon. And yeah, we can dive into HTTP checks. We didn't have any thresholds or checks here, but I think we can have it here.
Hey, you're already getting love from
Yeah.
LinkedIn. Carlos Ramirez says, "This is amazing."
No, thank you, Carlos.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
so
I also really wanted to commend you as well because it's one thing to have the metrics going somewhere where you can aggregate them all, but it is another to have dashboards that you can actually use, right? This just you just install the plugin and everything is there. You don't have to do anything.
yep, that's pretty cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So another great thing is you can actually. So previously with data source, you would have to build all those panels yourself, selecting what you want to show and how. And from the plugin, you can just copy it to clipboard, create a new dashboard, paste it. And at this point, it doesn't show anything because it didn't happen in the last 4 hours. But if you go to edit, it will adjust the time frame so you can see it. You can just apply. And here you have it. You can also go and customize anything you want. Let's say if you didn't want to see 0.5 aggregation of HTTP request duration, you can change it to just average and it will be reflected here. So yeah, if you have a dashboard already that has your monitoring on the servers, it's really simple to add this and just correlate with what's happening
That's
on
cool.
the server.
So now with the data source, does it is it actually calling our cloud service? Is it just calling APIs, REST APIs, or is
Yes.
it somehow connecting directly to a database on, the
No,
server?
actually, it's the good part. It's reusing all our existing APIs, so just like another client on top of it. And yeah, we just had to build the front end, but everything else is reusable.
Cool. Okay, so then when so I guess you won't have to worry about changing your data sources when Marco and the others on the back end team switch the cloud over to use Prometheus or Mimir over Timescale. So
Yeah, it should just work. If it works in Cloud App, it should work here too.
cool. And that was the work I was proposing to make for Marco and the others on the back end. It's not a light task.
Yes,
Here's
yes, it
a
is.
question from Carlos. I think I'm a bit late, but I'm wondering, are you using a database like Influx?
I'm not sure what we use behind the scenes. Actually,
I think it's
So
Timescale, isn't it?
it's
On the
it's
cloud.
time
the timescale.
scale, yeah. But I think also just so because he said that he was a bit late, so he might have missed our earlier conversation. This is actually being run. Well, these are all tests that were executed in K6 Cloud. So this is not K6 OSS that's going, the results are not going to InfluxDB and then being piped to Grafana. This is tests that were run on the cloud. But yes,
Yes.
for K6 Cloud, we do use timescale.
Yeah, so from all development, we've been focusing hard on making it stable, increasing performance, and make it a bit more responsive and snapper. So yeah, I don't know if it's visible, but it got quite a lot faster than the first
Yeah.
beta release. Yeah, it's also running on staging API right now, which is a bit slower than production. But yeah, so groundwork has been laid to continue developing it and adding new features. And the next big one is test result comparison. So we have no way of doing it right now because of different timestamps on test runs. But yeah, it will be coming soon. So you could do something similar like in K6, where you select a test to compare and you see both of them on one chart.
So did you use the K6 data source plugin before you started working on this?
I haven't, but I think it was included in it and just refactored later on.
Okay. So this one does seem more fully featured. The data source plugin had, I think, two dashboards. It was one for the list of all projects, the list of all tests, and then one for the test results. This one seems like it has way more views.
Yes, yes. You can also, if you go to the home screen, you can switch between your organizations and projects. And if you have multiple data sources for some reason, if you have multiple accounts, you can add those data sources, and then you'll see a drop down here as well to switch them.
Hey, would you be able to kick off a test in K6 Cloud now so we can see the results coming in?
Yes, definitely.
Putting it to the test.
You're tempting those demo gods.
I know. I mean, I have to be sure that Edgar's doing some work, right?
That's right.
Let's see if it
After what he
starts.
said in the beginning.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I mean, these could
Yeah,
just
it's
be GIF images that he's sitting here cycling through.
Yeah.
let's see. Yeah, maybe running it on. Okay, yeah.
Oh,
We
you
had a
can
bit of a
also run it here. I didn't realize that. I didn't know you can run it from the app
Oh,
itself.
yes, but the problem here is staging API is a bit slow, so we had started 3 of them by accident.
Okay.
Yeah, so this will be also soon improved to show the loading state of the test being started, because now it just allows you to start it and you can see if it's actually slow API or no. Because in production it's almost instant when you start a test. It starts the building up and spinning up
Okay,
instances.
so that's also another difference, right? Because in the K6 data source plugin, it was just you couldn't start anything from Grafana. You still had to go into K6 Cloud to start it, or your CLI.
Yeah, it was like read only. This has some
yeah.
capabilities to. The main one is to start a test. Yep.
That's cool. So yeah, so I guess in theory, your ops folks could be the only ones that go into K6 Cloud into our app and then provision it, and then all the users of that, I guess that in that org can just strictly go through Grafana.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the main part that needs to be done right now is creating a test here. I'm not sure in our plans yet if we'll be having something. I think the Grafana should be like more read client than full
Right.
ADE for tests.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see how it goes. It depends on usage and feedback. So yeah, time will show.
Okay,
So
so
yeah.
you already mentioned that you wanted to update the meta bar so that it also adds the cloud APM stuff if that's being used in the test. And then you said you're also working on results comparison. What else are you doing?
For the close features that's going to be developed, I think that's it. And we are
You said something
still.
about the setup process.
Oh yeah, the setup process I already showed. It takes some steps out of adding data source. You don't have to go to data sources and search for it. It does it for you when you first install it, and you can just go
Oh, I
and
see.
configure it.
Okay.
Yeah, we might also simplify onboarding, so you wouldn't have to go to K6 to create an account. So when you get a trial bundle of
Oh,
Grafana,
wow.
you would be able to sign up for K6 from there. I think it would encourage people to try it out.
Where is this going? So we're trying to make it so that eventually we're going to have the whole K6 cloud experience right from Grafana. Does that include like test builder and being able to put in scripts?
I'm not sure yet about Test Builder, but I know we'll have more features from Cloud App like Insights and being able to do analysis. So we actually can compare metrics already in dashboard, and the one we created. I didn't save it, did I? Yeah, you can customize it and compare different metrics, but you cannot do it from here. You just see what you get. So we'll be adding this feature as well to be able to select if you want to see 0.95 aggregation or any other, also adding additional metrics here.
What about adding baseline tests, being able to mark tests as baseline?
Yes, this will be coming here as well. I think we show when it's a baseline test, but there's no way to mark it here yet. This one is safe test. It won't be deleted by those policies we have, follow test. Yeah, and this one is baseline. We also have, notes here.
And what about the administration features? Is that something that you've talked about as well? Like being able to manage different teams and that?
We haven't planned it yet, but yeah, I think it depends highly on feedback and need.
And I guess, can you do PDF reports from here?
No.
I know, I'm just like adding to the list of things that I want, right?
So you're
I'm
the one
trying to
that's
think-
making
I know.
work.
I'm trying to think of things that I would want to, that I like in K6 Cloud, and if it can be, it can go into this. What about like shareable links? I think is still just K6 Cloud. We have a question. Sharon Gerard Jeshuran Logitharaja. Sorry if I'm not saying that right. Is there a way to customize or modify or add new panels on the K6 Cloud app on Grafana?
In your custom dashboard, yes, but in the plugin view, currently no, we just show the default one. But when we add analysis part, we'll be able to customize it. Maybe not add new ones, but change what we show here.
Part of this part of this app is the data source, right? So would you be able to still just reuse that data source and create a new dashboard entirely?
Oh yeah, definitely. You can even go to explore. Let me see, yeah. And we can go crazy here. You can build your own dashboard. You don't have to go to the plugin itself. You can see everything from here. Yeah, here we go.
Cool.
So same goes for custom panels. If you create a new one, add new panel, we select K6 Cloud, and yeah, we can get as many queries as we want and just show different checks and metrics. So it gives a lot of freedom to build any dashboard you like from all the metrics we collect.
Okay, so that's also different from the old app because I think, wait, first of all, the old one only, it didn't even have like an icon there on the left, right? It was just the data source. So I know that sometimes when you install it, it's like, okay, what do I do now? Nothing changed. At least this is like very visual. I guess what we can say is that this is where you start. These are all the dashboards that you can use initially without doing anything. But if you really want to customize your own dashboards or add other panels, you can still do that just using the same data source.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to go custom if you don't like to. You can just go to default screens and see what's happening. And if you like, you can go as granular as you like. And yeah, we still don't have test results here, but that's because it's on staging. We don't have in Cloud App as well. So yeah, don't mind it. I'll just go over
I
it.
actually showed a part of this last week, and it worked for me. I was just using the production one.
Yeah, that's a good lesson for me to use production next time.
Is the blue one, does that mean it's running?
Yeah. Yeah, we get
Okay.
same here, I think. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the reason I use staging because I had this nice test with multiple load zones, so I could demo it, and I didn't have one in production.
Mm.
So did you run into issues that you had to resolve when you were doing this?
I think the biggest issue was getting it to stable version. It was built fairly quickly. So some shortcuts maybe were taken, and we had to lay a good, I don't know, fundamental work for it to be able to continue building it on top of it. So that was the biggest challenge. Now we're past this point, and yeah, we are ready to add new features.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, no, this is really good work. I think now people understand what you're working on, what you've been working on all this time.
Yeah, no more secrets for me.
Yeah. So what's next? Are you going to continue to improve this, or are you working on something else on the front end side?
No, I'm solely focusing on Grafana plugin. So yeah, I think we'll continue improving it. I'm not sure yet about new hires. Are they joining in the cloud or in the Grafana plugin? But maybe both. So yeah, it might grow faster.
That's cool.
Okay. I also would like to share something actually. Maybe I can share my screen. Let me just see here. All right. Let's go. You said I can do organization and I'll choose default because I want to see it running. So this, I'm just using production. And I wanted to show off this cool new thing that we've done that we haven't talked about yet on K6 Cloud, and that's a test builder. So if you don't already know, on K6 Cloud, when you create a new test, you're asked whether to start building with a test builder or with a script editor. Now, I think if you already have used K6, like if you've used K6 OSS, you can just start scripting and you'll be able to paste your script on there. But if you don't know, I think a good place to start is with a test builder. I really love this because when you're starting out with a new tool and you don't quite know the syntax yet or anything, it's easy to start here and then go and flip to the script later on. So now this was way simpler before. Now there are a lot of options, which is a good thing actually. I'm going to try and show this off. Let's just do home here, and I'm just going to hit our test site, test.k6.io. Actually, let's bring that up. Okay, I also want to test for this part. So maybe I'll add a check here. And I mean, I increased the size here, but I hope you can still see this. I'll say the body should contain, by the way, this is so that we can test to see if this actually works, Edgar.
Yep.
Putting
And
you on the
then,
spot.
yeah, well, I mean, otherwise it could backfire and the demo gods will not bless me. But I really like that you can add more quests here and also now group them. I can't remember if you could group them before. I don't think so. And you can also change the sleep duration, make that 3. And then we have options here. This is the best part. I love this so much because you can change a scenario so that it's, let's say, scenario 1, homepage. You can even change the executor. So you can say just constant VUs and it's just a certain number the entire time for a certain duration. But I like the ramping VUs because of this nice graph.
Yeah.
These stages as well are, I think you could always do it, but I don't think that it was updating in such a nice way. Like you can see all of the options in the same page. Maybe let's try removing this and going up to 30 for a minute, let's say, kind of like a step load pattern. And then stay at 30 for another. I mean, I'm making these really short because I want to actually see something and not be waiting the entire time. And then we'll say it ramps down in 30 seconds. So I really love this because in the script, you can also set these as stages, but sometimes you get it wrong. Here you actually see it updating as you're changing it. So that's cool.
Yeah, that
And
visualization really does it.
sorry?
That visualization really helps it to see
Yes.
how.
Yeah, yeah. And you can also do more than one scenario, which wasn't possible before, too. You can add a new scenario here now or import. I haven't actually tried importing a HAR file, but if you've recorded something with our browser extension, you can just import that in as another scenario. And here's the second scenario. Let's go back here. Maybe let's go to the news site just for something different. Oops, something different to do. News.
And I was going to mention too that using the test builder doesn't require a active subscription, so you can actually just create an
Yes.
account and you can use the site as an IDE essentially to create scripts that you can then export and then run in your local K6 OSS.
That's a really good point. And one that I think we need to stress more is that this isn't part of K6 Cloud, but unless you're running the test on K6 Cloud, you can actually just use the test builder for free. You don't need anything at all.
Yep.
And like now there are two scenarios. Oh, well, let me change the scenario name just so we know what's happening. And this is news. And let's say this one is just 5. So only 5 of them will go. And let's make this 7, 8 minutes. So this is already a different shape. The scenario is from this one. But they're going to be, when I start it in a second, it's all going to start at the same time. But you can also change the load zones. So this is what Edgar was showing off earlier, that he had all these load zones. Let's choose a few here. And because I have load distribution set to even, it's all just going to try to make them as equal as possible. Fresh back in 86 is like, but wait, there's more. I should have worn my black turtleneck for that. And then this is a US one. Yeah, so of course it's an odd number, but it tries to even it out as much as possible. And thresholds. I think that if you're running a full load test, you should add thresholds because it prompts you to figure out what exactly would make it pass or fail. Because sometimes you get into the position where you run a test and you're like, okay, was that good? Was it bad? How will you know? Well, you should think about what one threshold that you could use is response time. And in this time, I want to do it across all URLs. I like the 95th percentile because this is a test site that should return the right responses anyway. And we'll say less than or equal to 1,000 milliseconds. I won't go on and add more thresholds, but some other ones that I would add are CPU and memory utilization. That's always good to keep in mind. And then here's the Cloud APM that Edgar was talking about, but I'm not going to do that right now because we're going to try out his work instead. Now, I was saying earlier that even if you intend to run K6 OSS, that you can use this test builder, and that's because you can flip the switch, and suddenly all of the selections that you've done are now converted into script form. So from here, you can just copy it, paste it into your IDE and run it locally or in your own cloud or anything you want in a private load zone. But if you're also not if you haven't maybe made a K6 script yet, then this is a good way to get started, because once you have this, it's easier to, like, if you want to add another request, then you can just copy this and then change the URL rather than starting completely from scratch. I think this is a good way to start off with. I'll flip back to Builder. So it's nice and graphical. And then I think I've already linked it. So I already have the app. And so I think that if I start this off, I should just be able to see it in there, right?
Hopefully.
Okay, demo. I just changed it there so you can see it. I'm going to click save and run. Ooh. Let's see. Oops. This pretty animation here. Let's see
So you're
what's
going to
going
hook in that
on.
animation into the Grafana dashboard?
Oh, look. KRH demo.
It would be good to have similar one, but yeah, this is
Yeah,
real
where's the
nice. You can
animation,
watch it.
Edgar?
We have a little spinner where it says initializing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not as cool as this one.
Right?
Like it's actually showing you what's happening. Oh, we should have
Exactly.
something like the GitHub world where they show every commit. Yeah, why don't we have that? I mean, I'm sure that was easy to create, right?
Obviously.
Yeah, so okay, you should breathe a sigh of relief because here it is now. We're already seeing it updating live. So it's not even starting on K6 Cloud yet, but we can already see that it is running now here in Grafana. Yep, 35 virtual users. That sounds like ours. Paris, Bahrain, Portland, Oregon. Yeah, 100%. Here we go. Now let's compare them and see. This is like testing live.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have
graphs
told you
line
I
up.
was going to do this, but I didn't know I was going to do it till just now.
No, it's a good test.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is looking pretty good, right? What is this? The views are at 5 right now. Is that right? Here it's saying, well, it's already ramping up, so it's kind of hard to compare right now. Yeah, so it's 14 virtual users. Yeah, that yellow one is the virtual users, right? And if we look here,
the
seeing the
green.
K6IO and the news site, both of them are getting 200 HTTP 200s back. Response times look good. I think this is working out pretty well. Oh, I like this though. Any plans to include that?
Yeah, it's in our future roadmap.
Yeah, because this is very cool to
This
be
is
able
definitely
to see
looking
the
cool.
differences.
Yeah.
Can you see the scenarios here?
No, not at this point.
No, okay, not yet. All right, it's good to know the difference. How about checks? Okay, great. Even the checks are here. That's pretty cool. These are the the checks of the 2 requests that I did. I think it's working pretty well. Oh, and what's this? You can copy. Oh, this is what you showed earlier, isn't it?
Yeah, if you want to copy it to your custom dashboard.
Yeah. Now the other thing that I really like about this is that if you use, the K6 OSS ways where when you're running the test, you're sending the results to some InfluxDB or Timescale or Prometheus, but if you've already run the tests, I mean, you don't want to have to rerun the tests just to get the results, right? And you might get different results. What I like about this is once you hook up your K6 Cloud account, everything that you've run on that account is going to be available.
Yes, yeah.
So, yeah, it looks like all of my projects are here as well. Yeah, so these are my projects on the left here, and looks like I can go to any of them too. So it's new tests and old tests. And what if I had lots of projects with lots of results? how long does it take to migrate everything? Or
It
is that
doesn't
something
take.
we should worry about?
It loads it instantly live. So there is like no migration job that imports it into Grafana. It just loads it live from our APIs. So yeah, it should work
Okay, so it's
no
pretty
matter.
much the same. It should be the same response. Like
Yeah.
we should expect the same performance, I guess. Nice. There's lots of things that are
Well,
happening. I think with front end, most of the time these are things that people do notice, but the front end is the part that gets the most love because it looks awesome. It's an essential part of a K6 cloud user's experience.
Yeah, it's a bit not fair for backend people because you don't immediately see their work. Just it's wrapped into this nice wrapper.
Yeah. So you must be relieved that this seems to be working
it's
really
all
well.
working. Yeah.
How about the load zones? You mentioned that you can also run a private load zone now, and it will also show up here.
Yes.
But will it
To
show? How will it show up? I think was it Ashburn, the default one?
Yeah, it was the one from staging. We have Ashburn, and it would show it just as any load zone, except it would have this lock icon near it, and it would say private as well on the tooltip when you hover it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's really cool that it's all working. Let me stop
And
sharing
then
here.
again, the private load zone is where I guess one of our customers, you would say, is I guess running K6 out of their VPC, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
What else is on the cards for front end?
Um, Honestly, I'm not sure at this point. We had this cycle for stability and reliability, I think. So after the cycle, some new features might start developing.
Yeah. So what's happening with a stability cycle right now? Because that's a lot of that is on the back end, right? What is front end doing around
Well,
that?
yeah, we're trying to keep front end stable as well. The main one, internal work, probably having a storybook for all of our components because well, there are a lot of them, and it could be quite overwhelming for newcomers to figure out what you can use and what's already built, so you don't build new things when you already have something. So yeah, I think that's a big one. And otherwise, I don't know, refactoring and making sure we don't have any code debt.
What
There's
is
always
the
something to refactor.
Did you
Yeah, sorry.
go when you joined K6? Was this the first project that you worked on?
No, I actually started working on Cloud App, and then we got it onto our hands from Grafana team. And yep, I just started working it. I liked it, and I stayed here. Kept working on it.
How do
I
you
think it's
decide what to work
also
on next?
I have some roadmap, and also I think feedback drives quite a lot. And yeah, common sense what's needed. We have quite a good roadmap from the Cloud App itself because well we see how well it works and what is used as much and what's needed there.
So how do
So
you like this more than, or do you like this more than working on PHP? I saw that you did some PHP stuff in your past.
Oh yeah, that was my early days. I hated it. Not
I
hate on
saw
PHP
Ruby
though
on Rails.
nowadays.
Yeah, and
Ruby
Ruby
on
on
Rails is my
Rails
love.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I love the Ruby, but yeah, it's a shame it's not popular anymore because JavaScript took over all. But at the time period when I found it, I fell in love.
Well, most of the Ruby on Rails community or Ruby community in general, they migrated over to Go.
Oh,
So
that's sad. Yeah.
that's
Can you share a bit about the stack on the front end, like what technologies we use,
Can you
just
tell?
in case anyone is interested in joining us? What skills do they need to have?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much I can tell because, well, it's a company secret, right?
It's not a company secret, I think.
Yeah.
We're happy to reveal all of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so our cloud app is developed in React. So I think that's the main skill and all that goes
Oh
with.
no, cut the feed. We can't tell anyone that.
Yeah, the main point would be React because if you've been working with React for quite some time, you'll know how to work with all the tools we use additional to it. We use Redux for state management. And I think, yeah, that's the two main points to know React and Redux.
And
So
now the
real
pieces
talk.
for
Oh, go on, Paul.
oh, I was just going to ask. So like the pieces for the Grafana plugin specifically, what kind of tech do you have to use there? I mean, obviously they have the framework that's provided in there, but I mean, is it pretty much just using the components that they have and kind of wiring up custom data sources and things like that?
Yeah, they actually have quite cool plugin platform. So you're allowed to use React, and you just have to match few points, few requirements from them. For example, you have to have data source, and it has to have some methods like testing for help to make sure it responds. And they have also this huge UI library that you can pick
Right.
components from. You're not limited to it. You can create your own, but it simplifies your work a lot by not doing the same work from scratch, and it makes it look nice inside Grafana when you use
Do
it.
you happen to know what are those components written in by chance?
It's all in TypeScript.
It's all TypeScript. Okay.
TypeScript and React, yeah.
Okay. Huh, cool.
Yeah, I
I
think they
haven't messed with
migrated
any of that.
from Angular some time ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty easy to build your own plugins right now. And they have a lot of this quite big kit for plugins.
So, what do you think is your favorite thing about working at K6?
That's a good question. I don't know. I really like how every team is self-sustained and there is no forced management or micromanaging. Everyone just knows what to do when they love the product they work on and they want it to grow. So I think it makes really great place because of this. Now you don't feel like you have to just work, get done, and forget about it. You just love to do it because, well, you see the result, you see how people love it. You get all those surprises about being a real nice UI and UX. So yeah, it really makes your day.
Yeah. Now, did you say what area are you based out of?
I'm in Lithuania.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Very cool.
Yeah, a little Baltic country.
So, maybe not a bad thing, but what do you think is a challenge, something that you had to get used to with working at K6? I mean, we can't tell them all of the good things. You have to tell them the real things too.
Mm, I guess the part that we don't have quality assurance that it falls in developer hands. It was quite weird for me at first because, well, it's easy for developers when you develop something and you just throw it at QA and say, okay, if it's broken, he'll find it. If he doesn't find it, it's not my fault because, well, I don't test my stuff. And yeah, it's a bit different here when every developer has to do code review and QA as well. And I think it works pretty well because our target audience are developers.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just have to think a bit more when you test it to try to break it and spend some more time on it. But in the result, it works great, I think.
Yeah, and that's kind of that whole shift left concept too. I mean, where, bring it earlier and upfront all the testing. So if the developers are doing a lot of their own testing, then that's kind of, when it costs the least. I guess.
Yeah, yeah, and it grows responsibility for your own features code.
Yeah. And,
I actually like it when they're not two separate teams, because as a tester, it's sometimes a little bit awkward because it's kind of like you're seen as the gatekeepers.
combative. Yeah.
Yeah, like if developers are just developing and testers are just testing, and you find a bug, you feel like you're saying, "Oh, you didn't do your job well," you know. But really, developers, it's not like you can't test, right? I think especially since we are a testing company, it's just ingrained into everything. Everyone thinks of quality. That's kind
Yes,
of
yes.
refreshing.
Yeah, and I think it doesn't matter if it's a tester or not a developer, but just having another pair of eyes is the bad thing, because you can
Yeah.
fixate on your solution and see the way to break it. Sometimes you don't want to break it; you want to believe that it's bug free. But yeah, someone has to crush your dreams and bring you back to reality.
Yeah, that's funny. Leandro's bringing up in the comments there, ficas, the fika culture that we have at K6. Swedish thing of frequent or having little coffee breaks in a suite, and just kind of talk to your teammates, just kind of water cooler type discussions. That's always
Except
a nice
with
thing.
coffee.
Coffee, yes.
Like a coffee clutch, yeah.
And some sort of a sweet. That's I need to stay away from those though, because it's it all
Oh,
goes
I
right
have
to my
never done that.
stomach. That's yeah.
Are you supposed to have a sweet?
Yes, a
Oh,
coffee cake or something. Yeah, the stroop. Okay, I'm saying it wrong
stroop.
again. Stroop waffle.
Stroop. Like it,
Yeah,
like
stroop.
the O
Stroop.
in Dutch is always like a long O.
See, okay. See, I don't know. It just gets to me the Spanish, the two L's is a Y, and I don't know. I'm
Yeah. Must be tough to be American.
America. Yeah.
Leandro is saying there's a beautiful fika culture to keep remote teams in sync as
Yes.
friends. Yeah, that's also something. If you haven't, were you already working remotely before you joined K6?
Yep. I don't know, probably 3 years.
Okay. Yeah. So I think if you haven't been working remotely, it is a bit of a change, because there's not that closeness, physical closeness of like being able to just look over and see what someone's working on, or anything like that. And ficas are kind of like supposed to replicate some of that, like incidental things, talking about hobbies. So I think what happens, Edgar, if someone wants to change something in what you've made, or would you accept pull requests, or anything like that?
At this point, we have private repository for it. We might go public, just haven't decided on this yet, but we have a separate repository for feedback. It's linked in our plugin page in Grafana directory. So
Okay.
probably if we get, I don't know, requests from people that they would like to join, it would speed up this process of going public.
Now, is this separate from the K6 Cloud feature requests?
Yeah,
Or is it
it's
the same
separate,
one?
just for
Okay.
Grafana plugin.
Okay, that's cool. Well, while we're on the subject, this is where you can go to if you see something in K6 Cloud that isn't right. You can, or if you just want new features, like I do all the time, you can go to this repository and create an issue there, and it will get triaged. Actually, this is part of the process for figuring out what's going to be worked on next. So this is a really good way to have a say if something really matters to you. Anything else you'd like to say, Edgar, before we close off?
No, I think it's been great, and I welcome everyone
Say
to try out
something to a
Grafana plugin.
future. Sorry, say something to a future potential K6 Cloud front end employee colleague.
Join us. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. We can't just have anybody joining us. Like you have to be a little bit pickier than that.
Oh, we are picking, but yeah, we don't have to tell now.
Yeah, I think if you are at all interested in what we're building here, we are still a pretty small, close-knit team, and we'd like to hear from awesome people. People that we'd like to work with, ideally.
Yes.
Any last words, Paul?
I was just going to say, I can't wait to listen to some Snoop Dogg.
Okay, he's not Dutch, so oh, Paul. All right. Well, thank you, ignoring Paul. Thank you, Edgar, for coming to office hours. I'm really glad that you decided to come on and that you didn't make me convince you for too long before you said yes.
Okay, I didn't know it was an option. I thought it was mandatory.
It was.
Yeah, I phrased it that way, so obviously
Yeah,
my
thank you for
approach
having me.
worked. It was great to be able to hear from. It's always cool when someone develops a feature and they get to explain and show the world what they created. I think you've created something really valuable, and it's going to make so many people's jobs a lot easier.
Yep. Thank you for having me. I loved it here.
And for those who are watching, thank you for watching and have a good weekend. And we'll see you next week where Leandro will be talking about performance-driven development.
There we go.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.
Have a good weekend.